Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Before we move forward with the session, I would like you can introduce yourself in the chat and we'll start with the session shortly. All right. Yeah. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining this session. Myself, Tejbir Singh. I work with CloudxLab as a head of sales and strategy. And today we will have a masterclass on how uh, people can move to AI even if they do not have tech background. And what would be the roadmap for that transition? And what all skills and uh, prerequisites or concept needs to be prepared before we move to this AI domain. We will discuss on those things. Along about this session, this session would be 1.5 to 2 hour long. And except the speaker, everybody would on mute. You can ask your questions in a Q&A section as well as a chat window. And our experts would be answering those questions during the session, as well as we will keep last 15 minutes where you can ask your any queries, any questions. We would unmute you and you can ask your queries regarding the webinar. Also, if you need any guidance while you make this transition. So, about our speakers today, we have Mr. Sandeep Giri, who is the founder and CEO of CloudxLab, and Mr. Rohan Das, who is a software engineer specialized in AI, and Vagdevi K, and she is a senior machine learning engineer. So we have experts who will be walking you through this session. Uh, a bit about CloudxLab. We are a AI company and we have different products under CloudxLab. Where CloudxLab itself is a AI company. We have CloudxLab EdTech section where we provide high quality courses, high tech courses for people who want to upskill themselves and want to move ahead in their career. We have PyQuest where we help learners to start with programming. They can learn Python. They can download PyQuest available on uh, Google Play Store and iOS as well. We have Terno AI, which is a AI data scientist. So I'll talk about Terno move ahead. And we have Ayla Health as well, which help women with the mental wellness using artificial intelligence tools and science-backed strategies. So about Terno, as I mentioned, it's an AI data scientist, and on which what you can connect your data source, and it will give you uh, analysis, predictive analysis, forecasting, and a lot more things you can do with Terno AI. So you just have to add your data set and ask your queries in a plain simple language, English, and it will give you uh, advanced analytics on your data that you can utilize in your uh, business problem solving or uh, any problem in general you face uh, while analyzing the data or doing the analytics. We have CloudxLab Playground. So as you can see on the screen, it has uh, content on the left side and Playground on the right side. So you can go through the content and simultaneously you can execute your uh, problems in the right hand side Playground. It also gives the feedback. If you do it correctly, it will say, well done. You can move ahead to the next question. If you make any mistakes, it gives you the suggestion and you can rectify that. We had online cloud-based lab. So all the tools and technologies available on our lab. So you can just sign in and all the data sources and different tools you can utilize seamlessly. We have CloudxLab Social as well, where you can connect with uh, other fellow CloudxLab learners, and there you can discuss about your project, queries you have, and this community help out learners with their questions and a discussion that happen on various topics and technologies that emerges over the time. CloudxLab also has a dedicated job portal. We have 300 plus hiring partners. They post their jobs on our job portal and we connect our learners to these hiring partners for the interview. So CloudxLab also provide job opportunities to to the learners. So you can simply go to CloudxLab job portal and you can apply to the openings that different companies have posted. We also conduct exam for our hiring partners. The exam is called placement eligibility test. So it depends whichever domain you're targeting or want to get a job, you can take that exam. And if you clear it, you will be referred to our hiring partners for the final interviews. So moving ahead, I would request Devi to carry forward the discussion from here.
Thank you, Tejbir. Hello, everyone. My name is Devi, and today I would like to introduce to you some of the basics about data science and ML, so that you get a brief idea about what exactly that looks like, and even if you're not from a technical background, how you can understand about them briefly before we go ahead. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So firstly, you might have already known about this term called data science. Everyone of us know it, but we shall look at it in a just a brief way. So basically, when the term data science comes, obviously it is about data, and it is about performing some scientific methodologies in order to make some really good intuitions and some really good stories from it, so that we can make informed better decisions in our business. So we all know that the data is scattered all around, be it like whatever we use, the social media or our accountings or the business data, just wherever we see, we have a lot of data. And if we are able to make use of it in a right way, we will be able to understand a lot of things based on our customer behavior or uh, the finance or medical or whatever it is. So it is basically to extract all the all the intuitive intuitions from it, be able to tell some good stories, and be able to drive the business based on data centric methods and in a scientific way. But that includes a lot of fields. It is not just a single field. So data science is actually um, a conglomeration of a lot of fields. For example, it has algorithms involved, it has systems involved, it has statistics involved, and in statistics we have scientific methods and processes, right? So it is obvious that an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structured and unstructured data so that we get value and that value will drive the business decisions. And this diagram is a pictorial representation of what we have seen, that data science it is at the core of various fields involved like maths, statistics, information science, domain knowledge, and computer science. So that is the very reason data science is in a lot of demand in these days outside. And if you see, data science is one of the highest paying jobs because it is not just like learning a simple thing, but it is actually applying our skill and knowledge in order to be able to drive some really valuable decisions and thereby make business decisions. So, in our course, we will be focusing on various fields, like we'll touch upon various things, and as we work on various end-to-end projects as part of the course, we will be able to understand how to actually apply that knowledge in order to come up with data science solutions. And now let us understand about machine learning. So, it is defined as a field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed, as quoted by Arthur Samuel. So, it is just by the term, we can understand that it is basically teaching a machine to learn the patterns or learn something inherent within the data so that we don't need to program it explicitly because that is very difficult. So, uh, it is like kind of automating a machine in order to detect the patterns or detect the intuitive value, detect the intuitive stories within the data, so that based on the learnings from that computer, we can use that in order to analyze or predict the future data. So let us understand it with real world example. So you must have played Mario, right? Earlier in childhood, maybe. So when we looked at it for the first time, we don't know, like we don't have a teacher physically to teach us the game or how to do, what to do, all those things. We figured it out, right? So how much time it took us to learn and win the process means a couple of moves, right? If not first time, at least based on the experiences that we got during the first time, up till some extent or some level, we apply that knowledge in the second pass and we get better by every pass, right? So the idea is that can a computer also learn the game by itself and play? So that is what the idea is. So programs learn to play Mario and they observe the games and pressed keys. And the goal is to maximize the score because as long as we are able to maximize the score, that means we are not being killed by any bugs and also we are making progress. So the goal is to maximize the score so that as we increase the score as we are able to maximize the score, that means we are able to make some good progress because we are able to play the game as we are learning. So both are happening parallelly. So let us look at a short video. So we can see that as and when we are pressing the keys, it is making some movements. And maybe on the second day, we will be a little better on the game because we know how to press the keys and what happens when we press different keys. And also it looks at the various frames involved. And when it is stuck, it will learn what to do. So, like this, after a few weeks, the Mario learns by itself what to do, when to do, how to do. And it was also able to overcome a bug earlier, and it was also able to climb this and kill a bug, right? It's able to save itself as well. And now, even after a few more weeks, Mario becomes an expert. So we can clearly see that the levels have passed and it is able to make a lot of progress, far better than what it has started from. And it is also able to kill other bugs. So with this process, we can simply see that this is another game. So we can see that even the machine is able to show the signs of intelligence. So this intelligence is inculcated with every pass that it was trying to play. So it was trying to observe the key moments, and it is observing the frames, and it is observing the overall environment in the picture, and it's obviously able to make some progress just like our humans do. So do you think it is able to relate something like a human behavior or human learning curve? Yes, because just like a human brain works, the machine is somewhat trying to uh, emulate that, right, in the process of learning. So the program learned to play Mario and other games without any programming explicitly. It was able to learn by itself with a few passes, and that is the idea of machine learning. So, how does a machine learn? Is like the model is inspired by the structure of brain, and this is the base of neural network. Okay, so the neural networks are the heart of the deep neural networks, and a lot of fancy things coming out these days like LLMs, right? So the neural networks are at the very fundamental basic units of that, and it is inspired by the very structure of a human brain. And the evidence is that even when the Mario has learned how to play the game, it was able to kind of simulate what the human brain does. It does better over the passes. So it is trying to do something similar, and that is how we will be learning. That is what we will be learning in order to how to program such things and how to make our machines learn intelligently. So the model is inspired by the structure of a brain, and you can consider a neural network to be a black box with certain knobs present inside it, and it has input given, and we expect the output, right? So we give the input to a black box within a knobs within itself, and we want the output as precise as possible. So the mechanism of fine tuning the knob positions is what we will be doing as machine learning engineers, right? Because this when the knobs are in correct position, like for some input the knobs will be in some direction, and for another input the knobs will be in another direction. So based on the fine tuning mechanism of the internal knobs present within the neural network, the output will be learned, and this entire process will be repeatedly learned on based of a lot of training examples, right? So this is the superficial mechanism that we could say about how it could learn. So the idea is to generalize the entire learning so that even when we get some input which is not the same as what we have seen earlier, we should still be able to do a very good decent job in terms of getting the output. So the entire process is in the act of fine tuning the knobs into specific positions so that whatever the input is given, the output must be in a very good, decent way, in a reliable way. So, in order to fine tune that knobs in a sophisticated way, we will be learning the machine learning algorithms and its methodologies involved, and that is whole of a study of machine learning. So, when we are trying to fine tune the knobs, that phase is called training phase. So the idea is to find the knob positions based on the past experiences. Past experiences are the input examples or the training examples. So based on that, we try to find the most optimistic knob positions in order to give out the most decent output. And during the inference phase, what we try to do is when we try to test it. Inference means test. So we try to test our entire training phase by giving it the input, unseen input, which is not seen, which is not trained on based on it, and the output still must be as expected. So if we are able to get very decent output, which is as expected, then that means our training phase has been successful and it is a decent enough training. And that is the idea. So it's basically like training a student and testing it on some unseen questions, but on similar idea. So that is what these are the two main phases involved in machine learning training and testing. Now let us see how does model outputs a word. So this is like an example of application of ML. So predicting the next coming output is a very good example of training a model and giving an output for a given input. So for example, we have this sentence called remember that wherever you're and blank. So we are supposed to fill this blank. So this blank can have so many possibilities, right? So here we see heart, which is the expected output, okay? But we get the output only after the training. So during the training phase, there will be a lot of sentences like this, and we train the machine learning model. And finally, during the inference, when we give input like this, remember that wherever you're blank, then and if our output expected is heart, and if it is able to give us the heart, then obviously it is doing a very good job, right? Because it is giving us the answer as expected. And then when heart is given as the answer, what if we still want to predict the next word? It may be is, right? And then you, and then will, and then find, and then treasure. So if you just read out the entire sentence, it is like remember that wherever your heart is, you will find treasure. So it makes a meaningful sentence. So it will be able to come up with a meaningful sentence finally only when the training phase has been a sophisticated and a decent amount of training has happened. So the entire machine learning takes place when the algorithm is able to do a very good job, and that is the very use case of machine learning. So we try to we try to train machine learning models in order to give decent outputs. So with that, we will be entering AI, where I request my teammate Rohan to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Vagdevi, for this explanation of the machine learning. Let me share my screen first. Okay. So I hope every one of you understand the basics of machine learning and how it is working, right? And also the examples in the real world industries, right? Now let us discuss about what is difference between machine learning and AI, right? We already have seen or heard most of these times, right? We want to do AI, we wanted to do machine learning, but what is the difference? I would say that the AI is a bubble, right? And machine learning is just a part of it. As you just seen that the playing Mario, right? It was showing an intelligence like human. So what AI is just that thing only, that a computer is showing an intelligence which is similar to human or an animal, right? That is AI. And we have all of those things like rule based programming and machine learnings and deep learning, hardware robots and IoT sensors. All of those things together help us to achieve this bigger goal, which is artificial intelligence. That means to get a machine the intelligence which is similar to a human or an animal, right? So this is how you can imagine this is AI, and to achieve this AI, we have these subsets which have all of those things, right? Now, what is Gen AI, right? So till the point that we have seen this example where we predict a next word, right? What that model is doing is generating the synthetical text, right? So every model that is generating something is a Gen AI, right? Gen AI is referred to generative AI, which is a methodology that can produce new content based on the content we have provided it in the training phase. Okay, this content can be anything from text to code to audios and codes, all of those things. How it is work is you provide text example here, it will train a model, and then when you provide the text, then it will generate the similar new text. Okay, if this model is trained on images, it will provide us the image, but also expect us to provide a image, right? This is how the Gen AI works, right? Now, in the case of Chat GPT, what we are doing is we are expecting a text generation from it. So the ChatGPT was trained on a billion parameters. The parameters here are the knobs Vagdevi showed you, right? So at the time of the training, we have been tuning those knobs according to the text information we have provided from the whole internet. That's why ChatGPT is so much, intelligent, because it have a billion parameters, also have been trained on, a lot of data which was existed on the internet so far, right? Thus, we provide a text input to the chat GPT, and it provides us the generative text output. Now, what we provided as an input is known as prompting. Okay, if we go ahead, the big picture that how the GPT works is like you read input, you predict the next word, and repeat until you get a full sentence, right? In this process, we are the chat gpt is not processing the words, it is processing the tokens. Why should it process the tokens? To take care of languages, to take care of basic grammatical mistakes, so that when you provide a word like playing, it will break that into tokens, which is play plus ing, which is the verb, right? This is the kind of separation it does, so that it can handle your grammatical mistakes, it can handle more languages, not only a single language. So this is how we do the chat gpt processes your input, right? Now we have transformer architecture, that is the brain of chat gpt. So it process all the tokens parallelly one by one, so that it can understand the whole sentence, the meaning of your input, right? And we have a most important concept, which is self attention, that makes ChatGPT successful, right? What self attention does is every word look at the another word and provide a score, that how much important this word is according to the whole sentence. So the each token look at the another token, assign an attention score, focuses on the important words, and that's how it understands the whole input, and then it tries to predict the next word, as we seen in the example Vagdevi showed. So this is the step-by-step process. We provide an input, it does the tokenization, we provide all the tokens with transformers, it use self-attention mechanism to understand the input, then it tries to come up with the probabilities of all the words that can be the next token. Then we finalize the next token and repeat this process till we get the full answer. This is how ChatGPT or any text generative model works. Okay, so let's say we provide the sky is, right? It will take this whole sentence, the sky is, and then it will divide the whole sentence into tokens, then use the transformers and self attention to understand the whole sentence, and then it came up with all these ideas that can be the next word. Here we have some of the as an example, that the sky is blue. To be this the next token is, we have 0.7, which is 70% chances. The sky is clear, that is 0.2, which is 20% chances, and the sky is falling, which is 0.1, that is 10% chances. So out of these things, we prefer the most one, which is the 70% chances, the blue. So we pick the blue, and that it continues till the point we are satisfied with the answer that user asked, right? Now, this input we have provided to the LLM, which is large language model. When we train a model on the largest language, that is large language model, right? So if this input provided is known as prompt, and the acting of providing this prompt is prompting. We have three types of prompt. When you work as a AI engineer, you will be tackling with these three types of prompts. There are many more, but these are the important one. So the system prompt is the instruction already provided to the LLM. What it does is it tells the model to how to act, what are the constraints, right? It will prevent some of the things, like if you ask ChatGPT how to build how to make a bomb, it will not tell you. It will just be in its border that okay, this is malicious, this is not right to do, and all of those things. That understanding is provided by the system prompt, right? So this is the work of the system prompt. Now user prompt is the instruction you have provided as an input, right? And we have AI prompt. AI prompt is the repetitive observation of the whole chat or the conversation. So let's say you said that okay, my name is Rohan, right? And then you ask ChatGPT what is my name. It remembers that because the first one, my name is Rohan, and the answer was provided simultaneously as a AI prompt, and that's how it knows the whole context of the chat. Okay, now there are some techniques, and these techniques applied on the user prompt. So this is the system prompt that constrains the model. This is the AI prompt that makes the memory of the model. Now we are talking about the user prompt. We have some techniques to write a user prompt. The first one is zero shot. That is no example, just the instruction. Okay, the sky is and then blank. Or you can say that write a mail for me on these things, right? Now we have one shot or few shot. Here we also pass one or few examples to the LLM so that it can provide us the mail correctly. So I will write that give me the mail on this topic, and this is the example that I wanted it, right? So we can pass an example to it. That is known as the one shot or few shot, right? Then we have rule based, not rule based, role based prompt. Okay, in this prompt you will say explicitly that okay, act as an AI engineer or act as a data scientist, and this is the process. How would you come up with the plan to solve these things, right? So this is how you assign a role or a personality to LLM or any model, right? Now we have output prompting, which is that how you want your LLM to answer. It may be JSON, it may be something else, right? So it may be a Python script. You tell that in your what we say prompt, the input prompt, that this is the thing, this is your role, and this is how I want my answer to be. And then we have chain of thought. The chain of thought is a process where is a technique where you force the LLM to think in a specific way. So mostly what chain of thought means is after giving an input, the LLM should provide a thought that this is the plan, how I will be doing this. Then it came up with the solutions for those, and then again it came up with the thought against those solutions, and this cycle goes on till the point we get our answer. Okay, so this is few techniques we will be using in user prompt so that we can ensure that we get a meaningful answer from the LLM, right? Now, what is the problem with this prompting? Okay, even using the AI prompt to act as a memory, we encounter that there might be some memory issues because the memory, the AI prompt, will be last in a single chat. There is no memory in interchat or past the chat. Okay, so if you asking in a single chat, this is my name and this is then I ask what is my name, it can answer that because that is appended in the AI prompt. But if I add a new chat and ask what is my name, that will not work. Previously it is not working for ChatGPT also, and I think now it is working. So they have implemented agentic AI somewhere so that they can have the memory in one place that can answer you interchat also. Okay, we have also seen the hallucination. What is hallucination? Hallucination means that the LLM will provide you the wrong information very confidently that this is the correct information, but actually it is not. It is just hallucinating on the information, right? This is one thing, and we can solve it by adding few shots and examples, all of those things, right? And then we have context window limitation. If we add AI prompt one by one, there is the chances that we overflow the limit of input size we have to provide, right? So every time we increase the chat, right, we have to add the AI prompt, which is the AI answer, to the next chat. And that's how, if you go to a long chat, you are doing a long chat, that can overflow the limits of the input size that a LLM model has provided, right? This is the issue with the AI prompt. Then we have chain of thought. So even though chain of thought came up with the thought and then solutions and then the thought again, but we have a poor multi-step reasoning consistency. It can reason correctly for a small task, but if the task requires multi-step thinking, then it just shows the poor thinking as the chat goes on, right? Also the lack of goal persistence. So if you have three or four goals, right, it may do all of those in a chat, but if you ask again, it may leave one goal, right? It is not encountering a point where it is marking or canceling out that this, okay, this goal is completed, now I am going to this goal. That is not infrastructure. We don't have infrastructure for doing this right now, right? Now we have no self correction. If a model gives hallucinated answers, there is no way that we can give a feedback, okay, that this is the wrong thing and you must not repeat this in the new chats, right? Because there is no interchat memory. And this is also hard to scale in a production, right? Now, okay, yeah, now this is the conclusion, that prompts makes AI responsive, but it's not autonomous. We have to do some engineering, we have to give inputs time to time, right? We try to improve the AI using the prompting and best practices, all of those things, but it makes it passive, right? It does not have a ability to make plans, take actions, and then improve itself. That's where the agentic AI comes in, right? Now let's just transition from the Gen AI to agentic AI. You know the problems, right? And you also knows that this is the point where we should enter into the agentic AI. What is agentic AI? Till the point, Gen AI just creates content. It creates text, code, images, all sort of things, but that is passive. It is not acting upon that. If I say write a mail, it will just write a mail. It will not mail for me, right? If I say just give me this code for this and this problem, it will give me the code, but it will not do the debugging for me, right? So because it does not make a plan before that, and even though it make a plan, it will just forgot some of the goals it have made earlier, right? Here the agentic AI comes in. It set the goal, it makes the plan. It's also look into the plans what we have done, and it just take those plans that this is done, and it tracks it process, right? Also it can do the actions, right? It can execute actions like mailing to someone or debugging and adding it to the GitHub. GitHub is a place where we add your codes. All of those things it can do for us. So here we have to shift from Gen AI to agentic AI, so that we can become a proactive system. We can work with a proactive system, not a passive system, right? Now, what is agentic AI? Agentic AI is a system that sets a goal, plan actions, use tools, execute tasks autonomously. It does not need any input from ourselves, right? And we have the core components, LLM, basically the brain, which thinks all of those things, right? What we have to do, the all those thoughts came up from the brain, which is LLM. We have seen till this much, right? Then we have memory. This memory is not the only the chat memory, which is the AI prompt. It is the overall memory of this whole agent, right? So every time the LLM is hallucinating, we will correct him with our input, and it will append that thing into the memory, so that it the next time we ask it, or whatever mistake it does, it will not do that, because the memory tells him to not do that. Now we have tools. The tools can be anything from APIs to MCPs to DBs, right? So it can look into your databases, it can use the APIs for the weathers or anything else, and it can use the MCPs for mailing you all sort of things. These are this will become under the tools. So it will plan anything, it will use the planner, and then it will use our memory to plan accordingly, and then it will use the tools to do those tasks that it have planned, right? And then the loop goes on till the point you are not achieving the task that the user have told you to do, right? Now, these are the industrial use cases of agentic AI, which is software development agent. Here we can write code, debugging, testing, and also deployment if you wanted to hand over the deployment task to the agent, right? Then we have business process automation, invoice processing, reporting, workflows, anything, right? That can be agent. Okay. Then we have customer support agent, multi-step query solutions that okay, why I didn't get the refund for this. It will look into the databases. It will look into the all the documents on the policies, and it will answer the user accordingly, right? Then we have data analysis agent, which pulls the data, analyze things, and generate the insights. Also explain all those things, that what the insight means, right? Let's say you have a FMCG company, and you are telling that, okay, tell me the primary sales for my this product, right? It will go into the database, pull up the data, and show you a graph. Then you say that, okay, tell me the last year of the same month. Okay, then it came up with the last year same month. Now you can ask, okay, if I can see that the sales are less, why the sales are less? Then it can go to the database, look into the channels, all sort of things, and then it came up with the explanation. Okay, this is less because of these and things. And if you add a tool for the news also, it can came up with the news and weathers, all sort of things. And then it came up with the solution or the explanation that this time we have a very large amount of rain or anything else, right? The news can tell us more, and that is the reason we have less sales. It can also give us the recommendations. All sort of things are we are capable of because of the agentic AI, right? So this is the whole agentic AI, and I think we have some questions here, I think. Okay, these are not the
Yeah.
questions, I think. Yeah, I think Tejveer, I can pass over to you. You can explain much more in detail about these courses.
Yeah. We also have signature courses. As I mentioned earlier, in collaboration with IIT Roorkee, we offer courses and we help out people who want to upskill themselves and wa- want to grow their career, want to make a transition from one domain to another, want to learn machine learning, AI, deep learning. Uh, so we train them, and that is also in association with IIT Roorkee, pretty known institution of India. So couple of courses that we are providing specifically in AI domain and for different kind of audience. And so people who want to understand AI from scratch, and they want to understand artificial intelligence from engineering perspective, how the large language are built, and how you can design algorithms, and all these things that we cover in the course, that is PG certificate course in machine learning and AI. So this course start from the scratch, absolute basics. There is no prerequisite for this, and we slowly covers foundations, Python, SQL, Git, Linux, DSA. Then we move towards machine learning. Then we cover deep learning and then AI. So it's a comprehensive 10 months program that we conduct. Once learners complete it, a certificate is awarded by IIT Roorkee. So this course is available for everybody who wants to understand AI, machine learning from the engineering perspective. The second course, that is executive certificate course in applied AI, is no code program. It's a shorter 3 months course in a self-paced mode. where a lot of working professionals who are working in the industry since last 15 years or 20 years and not much interested in understanding programming and how artificial intelligence will build, but want to utilize it for analysis purpose, enhance their skills in machine learning, want the basics of artificial intelligence, how they can, utilize those concepts doing the analysis using artificial intelligence tools. A lot of tools are available as of now, and one of like is Terno AI, as I mentioned. You can visit Terno AI, Terno.ai to explore more. You can sign up there. You'll get free credits. You can do the analysis of any of the data you have. So to even utilize artificial intelligence tool, you need to have some basic understanding of machine learning. You need to be familiar with the concepts of like which training model should be using to do the analysis. So this understanding we provide through the course, so you can better utilize artificial intelligence. You can use various automation tools like N8N. So these all are covered. Along with that, we also provide 2 months of industrial training with Terno AI, and which where you actually utilize the skills you covered during the course, and build on the problems that you want to work on. You complete the internship, you get experience certificates of 2 months from Terno AI. So I'll share the link of both the courses, and you can explore those. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, any questions that you want to ask, you can ask. So this is our course page, which you can utilize, or you can go through, and I'll share this in the chat. You can raise your hand if you have any queries, any questions. We will unmute you and can ask your queries. There is a question from Sujit. He's looking forward to applied AI course. Yes, you can visit our website, and our team will get in touch with you. You can just drop a message to reachus@cloudxlab.com. There is a question. I'm not from technical background. How I can, or not even like data science background. How should I learn, or how you can? So basically, if you are not from the technical background, uh, so the courses that we provide are also from scratch. But I'll suggest you what would be the a roadmap to getting started with uh, artificial intelligence learning journey. So you'll have to first go through and understand Python, which will be the primary requirement. And along with that, knowledge of statistics, probability, which is like more of mathematical concepts, topics, which would be pretty relevant and useful while learning machine learning. Along with that, understanding of Git, Linux also would be required. And then you can move towards machine learning, where you can learn supervised, unsupervised machine learning, decision tree, different machine learning models, and then you can move to deep learning, where CNN, RNN, stability diffusion, reinforcement learning that you can explore. And then you can move towards generative AI and agentic AI part. So this would be the proper roadmap to deeply understand artificial intelligence. We also on our CloudxLab have free courses available that you can also explore. Kritik is asking that I just joined the webinar. Okay, so we will be sharing a Google form that you can fill, and we will share the recordings of this webinar along with the presentation that you can go through. Yes, as responded by Rohan, the internship that you will get, a 2 month internship that you will be doing after completing this applied AI course would be remote. So you will be working on different business problems. You will analyze their data and you'll come up with the solution. So this whole like 2 month internship would be remote. There will be weekly catch-ups where we will be guiding you uh, with the problem statement or the queries or questions you have while solving that problem. So you will be guided. I've just sent the Google form link in the chat window. You can fill that form. You can give the feedback about the session as well, and you'll get the session recordings as well as the presentation by email. All right. Thank you, everyone. So there are no further questions. So we'll wrap it up the session. Thank you for joining the session and have a good night.